Today's Tuesday tip comes with a heavy heart, and it's a follow-up to my tip I shared a couple months ago about the tale of two funerals. Because today was the funeral of a dealership owner I had the honor of working with for nearly 15 years, Glenn Pentler of Uptown Motors. If there was ever a perfect example of a class act and a great leader, it was Glenn. He was a humble man, and servant leadership was something that he had perfected. I just want to read to you some of the comments that were shared with me from his employees over the last couple days. One stated, "I worked for one of the nicest human beings you could ever encounter. I admired the fact that he owned the dealership, but he never acted like the boss. He would give up his car to a customer when it was in for service if we were short on loaners. He would even drop a car off at the customer's house as well." The priest in his eulogy even stated how Glenn would come and pick up his car and get it serviced for him and leave his own car. And he felt special. And then he found out that Glenn did that for many people that he cared for. The kind of guy that Glenn was, would go out of his way to help anyone. Some other comments. If you asked him what he did for a living, he'd simply say, "I work at a car dealership." He helped us remove the snow, no matter how deep or how cold. And this is Milwaukee, where they get lots of it. And he worked 5 days a week, plus came in on Saturdays. He was so unassuming and humble, as well as soft-spoken. I appreciated his humor, dry and subtle, but very funny. He made us better, and he supported us in becoming the best we could be. This one, when my kids were facing decisions dealing with integrity, truthfulness, self-responsibility, pridefulness, or faith, I would always tell them to do what Glenn exemplified. Do the right thing. Glenn was the embodiment of this. Glenn showed us how to live life by doing the right things. I am proud to have known him as an employer and as a friend, and I will miss him dearly. At church today, I can't remember a funeral. It's been a long time since I've seen so many tears. Men, women, young, old. He touched so many lives, and of course, there were so many people there paying their respects. This person, as the famous quote from Maya Angelou says, "People will forget what you said, people forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." Glenn made everyone feel special. And I could go on and on and on. Glenn just exemplified so many incredible qualities that you'd want in a leader, in a friend, in any capacity. And I will say that he would be the type of person who would want to know all about what's going on in your life, and he would be inquisitive, and he would ask you questions. And when you'd ask him how things were going with him, he'd be like, "Oh, everything's fine." He was genuinely caring for the people around him. So, in memory of Glenn, I wanted to just spread some of the values that he shared over his entire lifetime. And sadly, he was taken way too soon. But he left such an impact in the years that he was here. And, I think about what we talked about last time and your legacy, my legacy, all of our legacies. It's never too early or too late for that matter to be thinking about that. And what is the legacy that you want to leave behind? So in memory of Glenn, thank you for listening. Take care.